This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
Automobile guru and radio talk show host Bobby Likis on this edition of Conversations. It's often been said America has a love affair with the automobile. If so, Bobby Likis has become its counselor of sorts, handing out advice on how to better improve our relationships with our favorite ride. Bobby's syndicated radio show, Bobby Likis Car Clinic, is heard on 140 national and global affiliates. He's become a regular on Talkers Magazine's list of top radio talk show hosts. But Bobby has not completely given up his wrenches and diagnostic tools for the microphone. He still maintains his position as president and CEO of Car Clinic Service Center in Pensacola, Florida. We welcome Bobby Likis to this edition of Conversations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the invitation.
Where did the love of automobiles begin for you?
I think I was born absolutely with an automobile, or maybe the desire to repair or fix the technology part of it. I always had just a burning desire to see how things worked. And of course, my first mechanical challenge was an automobile. My father, I would credit him with, my relatives would say, why don't you get Bobby interested in something else, to be something else besides just to tinker with cars. But I enjoyed it, and my father said, no, that's what he likes to do. So we'll let him do what he likes to do. And I'll tell a quick story. If I mention to you hair trigger with a gun, you know what that's talking about. I'll never forget, we were visiting relatives in South Carolina. We were driving very slowly over this bridge, and I was in the back seat. I don't know the age, 4 or 5, somewhere in that vicinity. And I opened the back door to see what that handle would do. But more importantly, I was moving the handle to see how far I had to move the handle, whether or not it was a hair trigger or if I had to pull it a ½ inch or whatever. I fell out of the car. Now, we were going across this bridge, so we were driving very slowly. Now, here I was, a little short, fat little, baby fat, I guess. And I said, oh, they've left me. It didn't hurt me. And my mom turned around to my brother, Kerry, and said, where's Bobby? And my brother looked, Jeff, and said, he fell out. And so that was just the way Kerry was. He was a matter-of-fact kind of guy. And here I was running to catch up, and my dad came to get me. And that was my first recollection of how things work. And I survived.
Obviously, before everybody wore seatbelts, too, in those days.
Oh, yes. Ford didn't offer seatbelts until '57.
Oh, wow.
And that was in the mid-'40s, late '40s. So that was the first, and fast forward to when I was 28, I was the first and youngest service manager for a Lincoln Mercury dealership on the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
And so my desire to help people and to repair cars right, and really drove me to say, well, if I'm ever going to provide services for individuals that come through this door, my name needs to be on that door.
Right.
So in 1971, I found a little place on Navy Boulevard called Likis Auto Service Center. It wasn't at the time. We started there. And it was an old used car lot. It was not a pretty sight. It was infested. It was dirty. It was bad. And so the first elbow grease went into repairing the site and getting it up. And so that's when we started in 1971. With my own service business. I didn't know really what I was doing. Yeah. I had no formal education with regard to running a business. I just knew that there was a value in doing a job to the best of your ability and doing it right, and people would find me, and they did.
Yeah. What is the biggest change that you have noticed in the automotive industry from when you began until now?
Computers, technology. It's still hard to imagine. There are some 25 modules. And a module is just a little black box that contains printed circuit boards. And I'll break it down. When you tell the window, or you ask the window to go down and push the window switch, you're really just sending a request to the computer, and the computer connects the battery to the window and actually does that for you. So the computer on board controls the mechanical device. And it's like airplanes and space satellites drive by wire as we have today. So the throttle, the brakes, the steering, electric steering, it's a little embarrassing when you check the power steering fluid and you find that there's no fluid. There's an electric motor that steers the car for you.
I did not know that.
A lot of people don't know what's under the hood, what's under that facade, that beautiful automobile that we have today. You push a button on the dash for AC, HVAC, and magic happens behind the dash. But there's some 1,500 meters of wires and relays and magic boxes that do things for you. So anything that you can imagine or dream with an automobile, including a car driving itself, is soon to be available.
A car driving itself?
Absolutely.
Technology on the horizon for that?
Well, it's actually already in Detroit. They've already created proving grounds for a collaboration amongst all OEMs. Crosses the line, domestic and foreign, because it's crash avoidance for cars. So our cars can see, or at least sense each other 4 miles apart. And it's just technology is telemetry. It's you know, to use the technology that we have today to make a car safer.
Right.
And of course, the lives lost per 100 million miles was 0.98 last year, whereas 30, 40 years ago, it was 35 lives per 100 million miles. So it's amazing.
And that's, a lot of it is because of technology with, I'm assuming, airbags, seat belts, et cetera.
Airbag seat belts, anti-lock brakes. I don't know that it's a better driver, so I don't know that I would credit better drivers. What would texting what it is today?
Yeah.
So we started the service shop on Navy Boulevard in 1971, and I always had a love for engines.
Yeah.
Loved to hear the purr of the engines, and good friends with Harry and Pam Schwartz. And Harry and I decided to build an automobile, a drag car, rear engine dragster. So when I wasn't working on a customer's car, I was working after hours on a dragster, strictly for pleasure.
Right.
And we won awards with that car, MBP awards, which stand for most broken parts.
Speaking of that, I'm going to get off just because you brought up racing there for a second, talking about that. I mean, back in the old days, that was a big deal if you could keep an engine together for 500 miles. And now it's unusual if it doesn't hold together, say in a NASCAR or Indy car.
Absolutely.
What's changed along those lines?
Well, metallurgy, machining, knowledge, technology, computers. When engines are put together for NASCAR or for Formula One or any of those racing applications, those engines are not even started by human hands. There's a computer that starts that engine so that you can measure from the birth of the engine, from the time it turns over and lights off and runs, to the load that's put on it, so that all the parts and internal parts bring up to heat and marry each other correctly and under the same circumstances, so you can duplicate. And therein lies the real secret. Consistency, duplication, and then you can, because it's not a one-off.
Right.
You know, we have one-off concept cars that sometimes, hopefully, make it to the street. Rarely do we see a concept car at a show that comes to market as beautifully prepared as it was, with the exception of the Volt. The Volt came to market mostly like it was shown, and the 2013 Viper is the most drop-dead gorgeous car that you'll ever see, and it took 10 minutes for the CEO of Chrysler Fiat, Sergio, to say, build that car.
Wow.
I was glad to see it.
Yeah, I bet you are. Take me back, talking about the Volt. That's the electric car that General Motors came out with, I guess, under the Chevrolet brand.
Right.
How is, we've heard in the media that maybe it's not selling as much as they had hoped for. What's your opinion on that vehicle?
I think that's a vertical market. I think that we're going to see probably 10 to 15% of all cars that will be electric or electric assist. We have to, car owners, the consumers, have some anxiety about losing their battery. We've all had cell phones that lost battery at the most inopportune time. So we don't want our cars to do that. And therein lies the answer for GM and the Volt, in my opinion, because it has an extended range. It has an engine that fires up and charges the battery. So literally you can go 300 miles, 240 miles. And there's a formula they use, EPA uses for that, that's called MPG-E, and the E is for electric assist. So you're going to see that option. I think, you know, consumers love, Americans want their cake and eat it too. So we're going to have options. So application sensitive, the smart cars of the world, which unfortunately I don't think are going to make the cut. I have one. I think they're the cutest car. But the smart cars of the world at least are an intro to what's coming. But the internal, and the Volt, Nissan has its Leaf that's a full electric, and we're seeing more battery charging stations. So which comes first, the chicken or the egg? We have to have the infrastructure so that if you're driving a car, you can go to the corner and stop and fill her up. Right. And that's not quite the case with electrics, but electrics will be probably a couple of million of the 14 or 15 million cars that will be made, new cars. Certainly there's a place for, in technology, there's a place for that application, albeit in maybe larger metro areas.
Right. And I would think, and like if you had a taxi cab fleet or something like that, they would be even easier because you could...
Well, there are 25,000 cabs, as I understand, in the city in New York and Manhattan, and there's a new taxi cab that's just come out, and it is electric assist. Okay. So you're going to see more and more applications, but again, that's an application sensitive where you can go a short way. It's a longer story, but I won't go there. A gentleman named Shai Agassi, spelled Shea Agassi, but not to be confused. But the Shai Agassi created a better place, and better place is based on a premise that you rent the battery. So you put battery stations strategically located, and you drive your car up, and in less than 60 seconds, they got it down to 59 seconds, so it's under the wire. You can drive on the ramp, and your battery is lowered, and a replacement rental battery is there. So you buy the car, but you don't own the battery. Much like we have with our cell phones, we don't really own the phone. You know, we pay for the use. Right. So that's what his premise is, and the business model is based on the miles driven for the battery. So there's a business plan that he thinks will work, and I've listened to some of his presentations, and he does a fantastic job. He's already successful, of course, and now he's spreading his way into that. And Israel is one of the countries that he's electrifying. Australia, another little country, the San Francisco Bay Area, where there's more Prius cars. The mayor there is really, like our good mayor, he's really up on technology and wants to see forward movement. And so he says, we'll create stations, so you'll have a market here.
That's fascinating.
I wasn't going to tell that story, but I see that I did.
No, that's great. That's interesting. That's fascinating, and on the surface, it makes a lot of sense. Natural gas. We hear a lot of talk about, should vehicles go to natural gas? Natural gas is dirt cheap right now. Does it make sense to you?
It makes sense for municipalities to use natural gas because we have no gas tank issues. Natural gas, when you have gas that you have to compress, require a large tank. That tank has to be bulletproof. So it's a combination of stainless steel and carbon fiber and much like hydrogen. And we talk about hydrogen, and Ford's had hydrogen buses in the metro of Detroit for years. But you have to have 10,000 PSI for the hydrogen in order to get range. Right. Well, the same thing is true for natural gas. I think that's a very viable, and to that end, but GM and Ford, Chrysler are making cars that are work either way, with gasoline or with nitrogen. I mean, with
natural gas.
Certified, with compressed natural gas, CNG.
When we talk about, there's been a lot of talk recently about ethanol, and I guess ethanol now is being put into gasoline. Yes. What does that do, and does that cause it to be more efficient?
I'll try to make this short. Ethanol's gotten a bad rap. There are some facts about ethanol that we actually are producing as we speak. And you can actually go to carclinicnetwork.com/20 facts about ethanol. Number one, for the most part, until we develop the cellulosic based ethanol, it comes from corn. Only 1% of the corn grown in the United States is for human consumption. The other corn's field corn. And of the field corn used, 30%, when it's refined, go to ethanol, 30% to carbon dioxide. The other 30% is returned as feedstock. And it's a fantastic feed for cows and cattle and chickens. And there's a lot of controversy about ethanol, but most of that controversy is based on the mid-70s. And I would just say that if you were to have, heaven forbid, need open heart surgery, you certainly would not want the mid-70s operating procedures. You'd want to look to the latest, greatest, highest technology tools and equipment and training in doctors. Same thing is true for ethanol. Ethanol provides jobs, some 90,000 direct jobs, and a little known fact is that in 2011, ethanol lowered the wholesale price of gasoline $1.09 a gallon. And some of that trickles to the gas pump, and I personally believe that that's one of the driving factors that we're seeing the price of gasoline as low as it is in our market and we're here in the United States.
When you talk back about the 1970s, are you talking about like what used to be called the gasohol and things of that nature?
Gasohol.
So it's a whole different world today than what that was.
It's the same fuel. It's an alcohol, and basically there are two properties. Number one, ethanol is a solvent. Number two, it's an oxygenant. 35% of the molecule of ethanol is oxygen. So if you're trying to meet CAFE mandates, we're trying to meet clean air attainment in those cities that can't reach, Dallas of the world, Atlanta, downtown Birmingham, in between the mountains is an area. When you buy gas in downtown Birmingham, it's not the same gas that you buy on Hoover because it's in between the mountains. So that fuel has to have an oxygenant added to it. For years, and since the mid-70s, that oxygenant was MTBE, which is methyl tertiary butyl ether, which also is a solvent, but it was manufactured by the oil companies. Ethanol is manufactured by refineries that buy corn, use corn, and so we actually grow. It's a renewable energy. It's here today, and it's an option that we can have today, and you're going to see not only E10, but E15. And one more point. Ethanol has a quality, I don't know if you know this or not, but all of the Indy cars run 100% ethanol. So ethanol has 110 octane. So here's what gas companies are doing as we speak. They're producing sub-octane fuels that have to meet 87 octane at the pump. By producing sub-octane fuels, they save money. They buy 10% of ethanol and brings the octane rating up to 87 and enables them to sell gasoline at a lower price and still make the profit. So ethanol is an enabler.
Interesting.
Very.
Talking about renewable fuels, are there any other viable renewable fuels out there?
Well, I think as we go forward, I think the cellulosic based ethanol, which is switchgrass and of course sugarcane. Brazil's been using sugarcane for years. So that's one. That's a to-do today, and we have to have like the electric cars that you alluded to. We've got some undiscovered fuels and some under-discovered fuels. So ethanol, compressed natural gas, but again, which comes first? If you're Ford, GM, Chrysler, someone has to buy the product. So the first thing that we need to do is to educate people, educate technicians in my industry. And that's an initiative that we're very much involved with.
Speaking of spreading the word about automobiles, you've been doing the media business for a long time now. How did you go from being a technician or an entrepreneur into being basically a media personality with a nationwide syndicated show?
One of my customers and friend, Fred Vygotsky, came to me and he said, I'd like you to do a car doctor show and on Blab. So I said, well, I've never done that, but tell me a little more about it. He said, well, you basically just talk about your business, and I thought it would be an opportunity to educate and to help people. I mean, two things I love. I love cars, and I still have a passion for them, and I love to talk with people about cars. And almost universally, at any party or at any gathering, if you had 1,000 people or 2 people, you're going to get a car question.
Yeah.
So I'm at home, and we all like to be felt that we're at home. So Fred came to me and he said, I want you to do a car doctor show on Blab. Now, we had, with Car Clinic Service, a lot of doctors as our clients. So I thought, well, you know, I don't know that I could trade a garage opener for a pager. So I said, we'll do a car clinic. And that's where Bobby Likis Car Clinic came from. And fast forward a couple of years later, Carl Leahy came to me and we said, well, let's do on TV3. Let's go to TV3 and let's go on the Gulf Coast. And we actually pulled on Sunday morning from 11 to 11:30, which was my off day. We pulled a 15.3 rating with Car Clinic on television. And then I got this brilliant idea to do radio. So how do you syndicate radio? Well, number one, I didn't have the money, plus you can't buy it.
Right.
So I'm glad I didn't have the money because I would have blown it all. So we started a grassroots approach on 4 stations in 2 states, and in the day we're 150 stations, but it's more than just radio now. It's media station, which is Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and the social media. So Fred came to me and he said, would you do a car doctor show? And so I owe a lot to Fred and my team. We actually, because of the interaction, live, real time with people on the air, that better prepared me. So if I back way up to the beginning of the story, I think it's, for me, a thirst for education and for knowledge and for learning. And that's another terrific asset of being host of the Car Clinic Network, because we have so many people that approach us. And so I get a chance, like you sitting here, I get a chance to pick and choose the people that I would like to learn more about, and naturally it's renewable energies and fuels and technology.
I was going to say, how do you keep up? I mean, there's so much going on. It's changing so rapidly. How do you keep up with all of it?
I'm to the point that when something new comes in, something else has to leave. I read, but most of my reading is in the automotive and or the high-tech technology, and then I get the travel. We produced a radio remote from the OnStar studios, and I was able to drive, thanks to a good friend of mine, the NASA moon rover, the new one.
Oh, cool. And
I had an opportunity to see some astronauts. Dr. Ford, Ken Ford, arranged that for me, thanks to him. And that keeps me energized, and it's a passion. And I think the biggest challenge for our industry, for younger folks coming into our industry, I'm sure I mirrored that same approach early on. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. And
therein lies the biggest challenge. So you always have to be open. You know, it's not the ears that count, it's what's between. And we have to be open for something new. And just about the time that you think you've got a handle on it, somebody changes.
Somebody changes it.
The technology changes.
I've got less than 5 minutes here. I'm going to fire just a couple of real quick questions at you. The biggest misconception that people have about maintenance on their car, what is it?
Changing oil and filter will keep the car healthy for the remaining of its life. There's a loaded question that I have, and I'll admit this, which when you're talking with someone about their car, you ask them, you know, has this been a good car? Universally, oh, it's been great. I've got 130,000 miles and never been in a shop, per se. And so that catches up. You can't smoke for 50 years and then quit and say you're healthy. So you can't drive the new off the car without addressing the rest of the body bloods of the car. That's called pre-repair, and that's a service that my team and I created. It took a couple of years to really codify the processes, and it's the prevention of repair. And we've grown that business now, so 40+% of our business is working on non-repairs, on pre-repair to prevent repair. Our customers love it. The cars run well, it's economical, and it works.
If you have a young Bobby Likis out there, 15, 16, 17 years old, thinking, I love automobiles, I want a career in it, what would you tell them?
Engineering, school, education, formal education. Learn rather than take the attitude, rather than to work on the cars that engineers build, engineer the cars that mechanics work on. Set your goals high enjoy the wins along the way, because there surely are. Enjoy the journey, but just make sure that you be the best that you can be and keep that passion about what you love.
And of the technology that's being developed out there, what most excites you in the automotive world?
Computer controls and the ability to crash avoidance and safety. You're in a safety bubble. So that's probably and being able to personalize your automobile. We all take our iPhones and iPads with us. The car's one huge iPad or headed that way.
That's amazing.
Well, with Ford, it would be a Microsoft Sync product.
Well, I guess if you have the crash avoidance, you'll be able to sit there and do what you need to do, and the car drives itself.
I don't know that we'll ever get there, but there's no question that we certainly are seeing a reduction in lives, lost lives, and we're seeing safety. And years ago, it wasn't a question of what's the safest car, but today that it is. So there are a lot of people, Jeff, including my team, that have supported me, and I can't tell you the feeling that I get when you have the people that are surrounding you and you come up with this scheme or this harebrained idea that should work. I mean, it may be 5 or 6 years ahead of its time, but you get support, and the next thing you know, you get one tiny step and then another, and time flies. And if you enjoy what you're doing, you can be successful at it in many, many ways. Yeah.
How many car questions have you answered over the years
on
the air?
More than 100,000 live from here and from here. I don't use teleprompters or computers, but more than 100,000. But there are 2 questions, and a short answer is, should I fix it or trade it? And the answers are 20 years of radio in the making.
Bobby, thanks so very much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you on. Bobby Likis, you can check out his website. It's called carclinicnetwork.com. You find out more about Bobby, find out more about automobiles, what's going on with fuel, etc. You'll enjoy surfing around it. Thank you so very much for watching this edition of Conversations. By the way, you can see more conversations online at WSRE.org/conversations. And of course, you can find us on Facebook as well. I'm Jeff Weeks. I hope you enjoy the broadcast. Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.
Support for this program is provided in part by these corporate sponsors. And by viewers like you.